Hey, what's up guys? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're looking at this, which is the Olight H1 Nova headlamp. Looks like a pretty cool light, just got it from them for review, and it's going to give you a max output of 500 lumens and then go all the way down to 2 lumens. It runs off a CR123 or a rechargeable CR123, and with the light included is a standard CR123. So you open it up, take it out of the package, and you are ready to go. I'm slightly concerned about this young lady on the cover. Doesn't she look, I mean, she looks kind of concerned. She's like got a good headlamp and yet she's staring into the distance. I wonder if like Bigfoot is after her. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about the headlamp as opposed to Bigfoot, so sorry for you Bigfoot aficionados out there. Let's get into talking about this thing, and I'll just stop babbling at this point. When you open up the package, you'll see that this is what you get inside, which I think this is awesome. So it keeps your, your headlamp and everything you need with it nice and tidy. So even if you're going camping, you basically have this, put it in your pack. It's keeping it safe when it travels. It does have a little bit of flex to it, but it's definitely got a more kind of rigid structure than just like a standard stuff sack. And now we'll open this up and actually show you the headlamp. When you unzip the storage container, here's what you get. So obviously some Olight information, instructions, etc. You see a little clip here and then your headlamp over here. The clip will be the giveaway. That obviously what you can do is take the actual light section of the headlamp out of this harness and the strap, and then you can attach a clip to it and actually use it as a small flashlight. And you can see some of the instructions right there and right there. So that's cool. Not only is it a high power headlamp at 500 lumens running off one CR123 or a rechargeable CR123, but you can also use it, just as a little lamp in your hand as you're walking around camp, in woods, use it as an EDC light. Lots of options built in to the H1 Nova from Olight, it looks like. Here's a quick rundown on the specs of the light. You can see basically the main things a lot of people want to know about, your different modes. So it goes for 500 lumens for 3 minutes and then drops down to 180 lumens for 170 minutes, 180 lumens for 3 hours, 60 lumens for 8.5, 15 lumens for 42 hours, and then 2 lumens for 15 days. Tells you how to install the battery. And then up here, all your standard information that it's pretty standard, I would say, for most Olight lights. So IPX8 rated down to 2 meters. It does have an SOS, which we'll check out that feature in a minute. It tells you about the Crete, the XML2 as far as your LEDs, drop resistant to 1.5 meters, max output, etc., etc. So all that information is good, as is standard for most Olight instructions. When you open it up, you'll have a little bit of information in each language, and then there's a full rundown of all the different languages. Obviously, we'll test this out at night so you can see what it actually looks like in use, but just so you can see what it actually looks like on my head. I like the fact that they use this rubber kind of frame section or support section that actually holds the light. If you're wearing a hat with one of those hard plastic ones, it's not a huge deal, but this is just, it's gentler on, on your skin, and obviously my head because I got no hair up there. But anyhow, so how do you operate the light? Well, certainly if you want to point it down, you just swing it down. You want to point it up, swing it up. To actually turn it on, you're going to hold, or you're going to press on the button here on the end. It'll come on, press it again, it goes off. If you hold it down, it comes on at the lowest setting, and then hold it down, it'll scroll through. If you have it on and then you double tap, it'll go all the way up to your highest setting. If you have the light on and you triple tap, it'll go to SOS. So there's 3 taps, and now it's in your SOS mode. I'll just let that run through. And then tap it again and it'll go off. And now, so you've seen it as the headlamp form. This is obviously fully adjustable, no strap over the top. Now we're going to take the light out and actually check it out, what it would look like, to use it in hand as a little EDC light. Here's what it looks like to hold it in hand, obviously not using it as a headlamp. And then, just to press the button on the top there to turn it on. There is an included clip, and you can see right there, nice deep seated clip, so that's going to rest nice and deep within your pocket. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. Here's a look at the light in my pocket. Easy to take it out, and then once again, just to show you, it does rest very deep within your pocket. One thing I will note is that your power button is on the top there, so just be careful that you don't accidentally bump it and turn the light on when it's in your pocket. One other feature I want to mention is the lockout mode. So when you hold it down, it's going to go into moonlight mode, and if you keep holding down the switch, it's going to go off. So hold it down, goes on to moonlight, and then off. And now if I bump it, you'll just see a flash of moonlight. But basically the idea is that, if this is in a pack, it's not going to get bumped or turned on accidentally. The nice thing about the system is that you get that little kind of storage container when you get it, so it's unlikely that it's going to get bumped on anyhow. But so you see it's bumped, it's not going on. Now you hold it down, and it'll actually go to that flash and say it's in moonlight mode, and now you can scroll through again to all the different settings. As is true with many of the Olight flashlights, this one does have a magnetic bottom as well. One thing I'll share with you is that for me, because I see so many headlamps, so many flashlights, so many knives, so many camping tools, things like that, when I see so many of those things, I'm always looking for what stands out about a particular product. And as I was walking from here over to the car to look at the paperwork out loud, I just said, without even thinking, I said, yeah, it's a cool little system. So that for me is a good sign, because when a light is, I'm like, that's cool. It's a flashlight. It has a bunch of different lumen outputs. It runs off a CR123 or a AA battery. I'm looking for something that's unique. So why would you buy this versus, the 80 other options out there? So just at a gut level, there's something about this that's intriguing to me. I like the headlamp and the EDC option kind of in one setup. I like the fact that it's got a clip, magnetic base, and it's such a little thing, but the fact that they give you that little carrying case to me is a win, because now I can keep that like in my car, for example, and not be digging through a bag to say, where's my headlamp, where's my headlamp? It's in that case right there that's in my console or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much the quick rundown of the specs. Now we're gonna actually wait till nightfall comes and test the light out. Okay, I'm out here at a local recreation area. You can see the light is on, it's on the lowest setting. I've got another flashlight over here just so you can actually see my face, but we're gonna go for a little walk in the woods now. You may be able to hear, I think it's an owl off in the distance, but let's show you what the light actually looks like on. And actually the first thing we'll do is show you what it looks like in the parking lot area shining at my car, so you can see how well it lights up the area and the car on its various settings. I'm about 20 feet away from the car right now, and we'll put the light on at the lowest setting. So you can't really see anything there on the camera. I can start to see a little bit of reflection. Next setting up, you can start to see the wheels there reflecting. Next setting up, a little bit brighter, and then the highest setting. So yeah, you could definitely see quite well at this setting. Looking around, let me just turn the camera a little bit so you can see. And I'm walking kind of in this grassy area. We're actually headed into the woods now, and you can definitely make out the path. I could see probably about 20 feet ahead of me. I would say decently. I wouldn't want to walk this with this type of lighting for a long time. Let's go up to the next setting. So obviously much easier to see at this point. Looking down, you can see the path much more clearly. Let's go up to the next setting. Yeah, I mean at this point you could see quite well. When I point this out up ahead of me, yeah, you could see the reflector on the tree there. It says no horse travel in the woods on this path. But I can see comfortably probably 40 feet ahead of me up to those, well, point right here, those double trees quite easily. You got the let's see where, if I can shine it over. There we go, up there. There you got the sign about the horse, and then I can actually see that you could kind of make the outline of a tree behind that as well. I'm looking off in the woods now where you just actually saw me walking, and I'm holding the light in my hand, so let me just show you what that looks like. So very, very small, very compact, but certainly, with turning your head, right and left, up and down with a headlamp, when it's in that setup, you're seeing where you're looking. This does allow me to, shine off to the right and to the left much more easily. It is, well, it's blinding actually, isn't it? It is quite compact, so I can cover it up like this, and it does fit decently into my hand. It is small enough that basically, let me shine the light here, actually on my hand. These bottom two fingers are off the light, so it's basically just your top two fingers and your thumb holding it as you shine it out into the distance. And then let's go to that highest setting. Yeah, so you can see what that looks like. Again, I just like the concept that you can take this out and walk around with it, and as a little EDC light, but you can certainly run it as a headlamp as well. We're looking at some of these interesting rock formations that people make just at this local park. I don't know what they are, but anyhow, let's shift into the SOS mode so you can see what that actually looks like. All right, so I figure we're doing a flashlight headlamp review. Let's wrap it up here at night in the dark and talk about the Olight H1 Nova. Here's what I like about it. I like the fact that it comes in that little, container system. I've mentioned that a bunch of times. That's a plus for me. I'm not going to lose it or, have it buried in the bottom of a bag and not know where it is. I like the fact that you can take the light out and use it as a little EDC light. It's good for, definitely around camp, doing some hiking in the woods. I will say that your flood on the light when you're actually using it is not huge, and that's because, as you can see, the diameter of the bezel it's just really small. So you don't have a huge circle putting out a ton of light. You just have this tiny little circle putting out the light. Does that make or break for me? No, definitely not. I still like the light a lot. If I'm gonna be, working in a place where I need a lot of light out to my right and to my left, this is probably not gonna be the light. But I don't think it's designed for that. It's definitely lightweight, and the fact that I can swap out the headlamp versus the EDC, just like a flashlight option with that pocket clip, to me, that's the biggest win of the whole thing. So I think way more pluses than minuses. If you need a headlamp that's going to give you, a ton of light out to your right and your left, then you might want to look into something else. But for me, this thing is going to function really well for around camp, doing tasks in camp, especially if I have like a fire going and I'm just going out to like grab some wood or something like that. This is definitely going to do the job for me. One other thing I do want to note is that kind of a classic thing I've seen with Olights is that you're getting that high output and then pretty quickly it drops down to a lower output. So I don't know if as they move into the technology in the future, if they can find a way to let the lights burn at their higher output for a longer time. Just because, if you want that 600 lumens for 5 minutes while you're walking or looking for something or trying to figure out a situation when you're in a canoe, I don't know, at night, whatever it is, it's going to drop down relatively quickly. So just be planning on using that highest setting in a very limited capacity, and then the lower settings you can obviously use for a longer time. Olight has a handful of headlamps out at this point, and this one right now is my favorite of everything I've tested from them as far as headlamps go. So once again, the Olight H1 Nova, and links are down below for that description section. If this might be a good light for you, you can certainly purchase it using some of those links. Thanks as always for checking out the videos here on Everyday Tactical Vids. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. Take care.